Alright, so before we even get into the video, you may notice that I am no longer looking like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball. And that's because my cousin, who is a professional photographer by the way, started watching my videos and noticed that I was out here looking darker than Wesley Snipes. And so this dude, completely unprompted, bought and sent me 3 LED lights. Look, if you watch my videos, you know that I'm constantly talking about my family and my friends. And that's because these are the type of people that I have around me. Literal angels. I mean, my cousin has seen my videos and he knows me personally. So he knows that I have nothing to offer him other than a genuine, heartfelt thank you. And he still did this for me. So look, I'm not on any of the main social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. But I'm going to try and link his page down below because you can get a lot of people to take really good quality pictures for you. But I think a bigger part of the equation is the type of person that you have behind the camera. And if this isn't a good enough indication of the type of person that you're going to get when you work with him, then I don't know what is. So one last time, a truly heartfelt, genuine thank you to my cousin. I know it's not enough. Not for you, but for me, it's not enough. But right now, it's all I have. So thank you. Alright, but let me stop gushing and let's get on with the video. But truly, thank you. So last week I made a video about an argument that I was having with a friend about dating apps. And as I was making it, everything felt fine. But after I put it out, I was like, you know, it's kind of grimy that you just air all that out in front of 9 whole subscribers and not give your homies full point of view or give him a chance to respond. I mean, I talked with him about it and he's totally cool with the video. And as I predicted, didn't really care either way. But I still kind of felt bad about it, so I thought it'd be a good idea to clear some things up. Because to be fair to him, even though that bit that I clowned him for about changing your strategy was part of the initial conversation, as the discussion continued, the points that he was making definitely became more nuanced and had more validity to them. So essentially, one of his main arguments was that whether you're presenting yourself in a dating app or in real life, you can carry yourself with confidence and exhibit the qualities within yourself that people find attractive. And that makes sense. I don't disagree with that at all. The point I'm making is that in my current state, I don't have that confidence and I don't have those qualities. And so for me, any exhibition of said confidence or qualities would be a lie because they just don't exist within me. And I spent a good chunk of my last video explaining why. But for someone like him, who is confident, who is funny, witty, charming, and interesting, there's no fake there. So whether it's in real life or on a dating app, also. Perfect timing. Okay. What was I going to say? So whether it's in a dating app or in real life, the personality that he's putting out is 100% authentic and genuine. So to present the change your strategy bit as an inherent attempt to catfish someone, regardless of the context, was a subjective interpretation of what he was trying to say. Because for him, changing your strategy might mean, oh, this person prefers witty banter. Well, I'm capable of that. So I'll let that particular personality trait that I already have shine in this interaction. Or it might mean, actually, this person prefers talking about global issues. Well, I can also do that. And so I'll put that foot forward and see where this goes. So changing your strategy doesn't inherently imply that you're lying to someone about who you are. Whereas for me, who is incapable of that confidence and those qualities, to present them in these romantic contexts would be a lie and therefore a catfish situation. And the reason I felt bad was because this whole disagreement basically came about because this dude was just trying to be a real friend. He was gassing me up. Basically, he was just trying to say that I'm capable of attaining that confidence, that I'm capable of exhibiting those qualities. But if I keep beating myself up, I'll never realize that. And whether it's in real life or on a dating app, I'll remain in this antisocial funk. And he is 100% right about that. But what I consistently fail to express to him is that I agree. I also think I'm capable of all of that. And I am extremely excited about my potential. The person that I want to be, I think, is very dateable. But in my view, the only way that I ever become that guy is if I am completely honest with myself right now and acknowledge that I do not yet have those qualities. I wouldn't date me right now. And I don't see that statement as me beating myself up. I say that because the qualities that I value in a partner, I don't currently have. And so for me, it makes sense to not make it my goal to start dating again until I've done some substantial work on myself. But what's important to keep in mind is that I'm not trying to become the person that I want to be for the explicit purpose of finding a partner. I want to become that person because I genuinely just like who that person is, and I would be proud of myself if I could attain that, regardless of whether I have a girlfriend or not. And that brings me to the point of this video, because even if I can somehow manage to start to become this confident person with these attractive qualities, I still don't think that I'm going to use dating apps. Now in my last video, I made the claim that I won't use dating apps because I'm bad at them, and that I'm bad at them because there's an inherent difference between meeting someone in a dating app and meeting someone in person. But in making this video, I realized that I needed to scrap that entire claim. It is way too broad and has too many holes, and so it is no longer a statement I think I can stand behind. What I was clumsily trying to encapsulate with this claim was how, in my personal experience, I have been fortunate enough to meet a limited few romantic partners without making it my explicit goal to meet them whenever I'd go out into the world, and how using dating apps is essentially the complete inverse of this approach. Basically, in one scenario, you don't set out with a specific goal, and in the other one, you do. And so what I was incoherently trying to draw attention to was the difference in intent between the two approaches. But I foolishly attributed that difference to meeting people in person versus meeting people in an app, which just isn't the case. Again, the difference is in the intent. And so even though I've had painfully few opportunities for romantic relationships over this past decade, I'd still rather not make it my explicit goal to rectify that. Like I said before, my main focus right now is just to try to become that dude that I think I could be. And if romantic relationships come as a result of that, great. And if they don't, well, I mean, that would be unfortunate, but I still stand by what I said in my last video. If going this route means that I'm going to be single until I'm 70, then so be it. So I guess the question then becomes, okay, well, why don't you want to make it your specific goal to look for a romantic partner? And there are a few reasons for this, the first of which I already mentioned before. And that's because making it my explicit goal to find a romantic partner is the complete antithesis of what I've been doing until now. And even though I haven't had many romantic experiences, the few that I have never left me with a feeling of emptiness or regret. Even though there was plenty of pain and heartbreak involved in those relationships, many times perpetuated by me. But yeah, if this process has allowed me to have a few very fulfilling relationships at the cost of being single for extended periods of time, then I am more than content to continue down this road. The second reason I'm not trying to use dating apps is because I have the emotional maturity of a toddler. So when I get a specific goal in mind, I get tunnel vision, and my general happiness is entirely dependent upon whether or not I reach that goal. And if I don't, and let's face it, I usually don't, I end up capitulating on everything in my life. And I mean everything, even the things that are going well, which is why, again, I'm keeping my only current goal extremely broad so as to avoid that tunnel vision and eventual capitulation. And finally, the last reason I don't think I'm going to use dating apps is because I feel like they turn the entire process of meeting someone and getting to know them into basically a job interview. I mean, it's kind of like saying, okay, I have this vacancy that I need filled, and applicants must be able to provide X, Y, and Z in order to apply. And if you don't meet those requirements, you're not getting hired, aka I'm swiping left. And there are plenty of articles and personal experiences that you can read online that substantiate this claim. And personally, I do not want to be subjected to that, nor do I want to subject people to that at all. But I don't want to single out dating apps because there are plenty of IRL scenarios that promote that same mentality, like singles mixers and speed dating. And that's part of why I had to scrap my original claim, because the difference is in the intent, not necessarily the digital versus IRL setting. Once I make it my intent to find a romantic partner, I start to view everyone I meet through that lens. And if they don't meet that standard, then I get to swipe left and dismiss them from my life. And personally, I'd rather just meet someone without this specter of this predetermined romantic context hanging over us, get to know them, and then decide naturally whether they're a friend, romantic interest, or mortal enemy. I also don't want to invalidate anybody's experience because I know that there are plenty of people who have formed lifelong friendships on these apps. But if you read through social media as I've been doing over the past few years, and more specifically over the past few days, then I think you'll start to notice that this is the exception to the rule and not the rule itself. I also need to add that these reasons that I personally have for not using these dating apps are not prescriptive in any way. My particular circumstance has allowed me to get by just fine without using them. And so I'm just going to keep getting by. But obviously my situation isn't everybody's. There are people who have done what I'm doing and haven't had the same good fortune. And so they turned to dating apps and started to find success. There are people who work non-stop and they just don't have the time to meet people naturally out in the world because they're never out in the world. And so using these apps maximizes whatever little time they do have to find a romantic partner. And obviously there are the thousands of people who have met their wives and husbands via these apps. My only real statement here is that I, Fif Badaki, will not be using dating apps for the foreseeable future due to the aforementioned reasons. That's it. Full stop. There is no statement here that dating apps are bad or toxic or whatever else people assume someone is saying whenever they claim they don't do something that a lot of people do. I have to go through this exact same rigmarole whenever I tell people I don't drink. Everybody's always like, what? What do you have against alcohol? And I always have to be like, nothing. I'm just bad at it. It doesn't make me more fun. It doesn't make me open up. I just get tired, I don't like the taste, and I end up waking up the next morning feeling like absolute trash garbage. So I don't do it. But for goodness sake, that doesn't mean that I hate alcohol or the people that consume it. And that's the last bit that I want to express to my friend. I don't have anything against dating apps. Part of the reason that I got so frustrated in our initial conversation was because I kept being told that the reason I won't use dating apps is because I have some personal grievance with them, or because I don't have thick enough skin to handle rejection. And that set me off. Like, bro, I also don't play hockey. And the reason I don't play hockey isn't because I have some personal vendetta against the sport. It's because I'm bad at it. And it's the same thing here. I don't use these apps, nor do I go into situations where the express intent is to find a romantic partner, because I'm bad at that. End of story. But to be fair, it has taken me 2 videos and potentially over 20 minutes to hopefully convey my actual feelings towards dating apps. So I probably wasn't articulating my point very well when we were talking. But hopefully now, finally, I've explained myself. But alright, this script took me way too long, so this outro is going to be abrupt because I just want to be done with it. So yes, thank you so much for letting me express myself. I probably still didn't convey my point very well and will probably have to go back and address it in a later video. But for now, I feel like I can stand by what I've said. But anyway, as always, all the very best to you going forward, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.